For centuries, sailors told stories. Stories of creatures rising from the deep. Tentacles thick as ship masts. Eyes like lanterns, capable of dragging entire vessels beneath the waves. The Kraken, sea monster, devilfish. Scientists dismissed these stories as folklore, exaggeration. The ocean was full of wonders, yes, but nothing that size. And then evidence started washing ashore. The 1870s, Logie Bay, Newfoundland. A fisherman found something on the beach. Massive. A giant squid, over 10 meters long, stranded in the shallows. Its body wasn't built for shallow water. Without deep sea pressure supporting it, the structure collapsed. The eyes were enormous, reflective. There was no way to move a creature that size. So when it finally went still, they measured it, preserved parts of it, sent specimens to scientists. The sailors had been telling the truth. Tonight, we're tracing the journey of Architeuthis ducks, the giant squid, from sea monster legend to scientific specimen, and the decades-long pursuit to see one alive in its natural habitat. A pursuit that took centuries, failed hundreds of times, and finally succeeded in 2012, when researchers descended into the deep Pacific and for 23 minutes came face to face with the ocean's most elusive Leviathan. Let's begin with the legend. The Kraken appears in Norse mythology, old Icelandic sagas, described as a creature so large it could be mistaken for an island. In 1752, the Bishop of Bergen wrote about the Kraken in his Natural History of Norway. He described it as real, a creature in the deep sea off Norway's coast. Sailors from multiple nations reported encounters. A massive creature surfacing near ships, long arms, enormous eyes, the smell of ammonia. Some ships reported being attacked, but no specimens, no proof, just stories. And stories without evidence remain legend. Scientists were skeptical. A creature that large? If it existed, surely someone would have found a body. The ocean, they reasoned, could not hide something that massive. They were wrong. What happened in Newfoundland between 1870 and 1880 changed everything. Multiple giant squid washed ashore, not just dead specimens. Some were still alive when found, stranded in shallow water, weak and out of their element. The fisherman, who found one of the early major strandings, found it in shallow water. An animal built for depth, suddenly out of its element. Over time, it weakened, and finally, stillness. When scientists arrived, they measured what was left. Over 10 meters. The arms were thick as a man's thigh. The beak was powerful, built to slice and crush prey. Thimble Tickle Bay, November 1878. Another stranding. This one, even larger. Stephen Sharing, a fisherman, found it in shallow water. still alive. When it finally became still, they measured what they could. Some reports put its length at extraordinary extremes, 17 meters, though numbers like that are hard to verify. They preserved parts of it for study. The rest was left to the tide. Over that decade, more than a dozen giant squid washed ashore, enough to change everything. Not just stories anymore. Evidence. They lived at 300 to 1,000 meters depth. Something went wrong, and they rose into shallow water. Their bodies, built for the deep, suddenly unsupported by it. They couldn't return to the depths. The Kraken was real. It had a scientific name, Architeuthis ducks. But having dead specimens raised a question. What were they like, alive? Before the Newfoundland strandings, there was the Leviathan. In November 1861, the French warship Leviathan encountered a giant squid in the Atlantic, northeast of Tenerife. The creature was enormous, floating at the surface, sick possibly, or weakened. The crew tried to capture it, but the weight proved too great. The line held, the sea churned, and finally, the tension gave way. Only a section of the tail was recovered. Scientists confirmed. Giant squid. Real. But the rest was gone. Lost into the deep. The first close encounter between humans and a giant squid. And it ended the same way so many encounters ended then. With loss. The pattern was already clear. Every time we reached for them, we lost them. For over a century, scientists tried to see a giant squid alive in its natural habitat. The problem? Giant squid live deep, 300 to 1,000 meters. They rarely surface unless something has gone wrong. Researchers tried everything, baiting them with dead fish, following sperm whales, deep-sea submersibles. Decades passed, the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s. Technology improved, better cameras, deeper submersibles. But the giant squid remained elusive. And then, in 2004, someone succeeded. September 30th, 2004. Dr. Tsunemi Kubodera and his team were working in the North Pacific, east of Japan. Different approach. No submersible. No bright lights. Just a long line with bait at 900 meters depth. Cameras triggered by motion. That day, something approached the bait. A giant squid. The cameras fired. Over 550 images during a 4-hour period. The squid attacked the bait, wrapped a tentacle around it. The tentacle became entangled and came away. When Kubodera retrieved the line, they found the tentacle still attached, 5.5 meters long, and they had the photographs. The first photographs ever taken of a living giant squid in its natural habitat. The images showed a creature very different from dead specimens, active, aggressive. The body glowed reddish-brown. It wasn't a slow scavenger. It was a hunter. But they were still photographs, frozen moments. The question remained, what would it look like in motion? 8 years later, same team, same location. This time, they would descend in a submersible, the Triton 3300/3. Dozens of dives, years of searching, hundreds of hours underwater. July 10th, 2012, 630 meters below the surface. Darkness. The submersible's lights illuminating a narrow cone of water. The crew waited. They'd been down for hours, seen nothing unusual. And then, movement in the distance. Something large, outside the light cone, moving toward them. The pilot dimmed the lights. The cameras kept recording. And the giant squid appeared. Slowly, arms trailing, body pulsing. The mantle glowed reddish bronze. The skin shimmered, chromatophores creating patterns across the body. And the eyes, massive, reflective, turned toward the submersible. The squid was 3 meters long, a juvenile, but alive, moving, real. It approached, not fleeing, not attacking, investigating. The tentacles reached out, exploring, touching the submersible's hull, the camera housing. The crew inside barely breathed. This was it, the moment they'd spent years pursuing, hundreds of dives. And the squid was curious. For 23 minutes, they watched it. The squid circled, came close enough that its tentacles brushed the viewing port. And then, there was a moment. The squid stopped, hovered, directly in front of the viewing port. Its eyes, each one the size of a dinner plate, looked directly at the camera, directly at the crew inside. For several seconds, it simply watched them. Think about what that moment was. Two intelligent species, separated by a few centimeters of acrylic, separated by millions of years of evolution. But for those few seconds, connected, looking at each other. What did the squid see? A strange object, lights, something that didn't belong in the deep. What did it think the humans were? The humans watched an animal they'd pursued for centuries. The Kraken, made real. No longer myth, no longer corpse. Alive, curious, watching them back. And the squid watched what? Aliens from the surface world, creatures it had never encountered. For those few seconds, the boundary between species dissolved. Not understanding exactly, but recognition. Two intelligent beings acknowledging each other. And then the squid turned, pulsed its mantle, jetted backward, descended. Within seconds, it had disappeared into the darkness below. The encounter was over. 23 minutes, after centuries of searching, after years of preparation. 23 minutes. And then gone. The footage showed something different from dead specimens. The squid moved gracefully, arms coordinated. It could change direction quickly. This was an active hunter, not a slow drifter. It approached the submersible, investigated, touched it, watched the crew, then chose to leave. This suggested intelligence, decision-making. The squid evaluated the situation and decided to disengage, not out of fear, out of choice. But the footage also revealed how much we still don't know. The squid in the video was a juvenile. What do the 13-meter adults behave like? Do they hunt differently? Are they more aggressive? We don't know. The 2012 footage remains among the longest, clearest windows we have into a living giant squid in its habitat. Since 2004, giant squid have been photographed and filmed alive in the wild only a handful of times. 2004, Kubodera's photographs. 2006, Kubodera filmed one brought to the surface, briefly. 2012, first extended footage in natural habitat, 630 meters, 23 minutes. And in the years since, only a few more brief deep water encounters, fleeting glimpses. A handful of encounters in over 20 years of intensive searching. Thousands of dives, thousands of hours underwater, decades of careers. A handful of encounters. The 2012 footage, the longest, took years of preparation, learning from failures. And even then, even after finding it, filming it, the squid left, descended, disappeared. We don't know if anyone will ever see that individual again. We don't know if it's still alive. It returned to the deep and became elusive again. The primary predator of giant squid is the sperm whale. Sperm whales dive to 1,000 meters or more. They hunt in darkness using echolocation. We know this because their stomachs contain squid beaks, hundreds of them, many from giant squid. But the whales also bear scars, circular sucker marks across their heads, around their jaws. A 13-meter giant squid, arms thick with muscle, suckers lined with teeth, and a razor-sharp beak built to slice prey, can inflict damage, even on a 40-ton whale. Most battles occur at 1,000 meters depth. Total darkness, violent, quick. The whale usually wins, but the scars prove the squid fights for its life. And occasionally, the squid escapes, scarred, but alive. No human has ever witnessed one of these battles. For centuries, the giant squid was a myth. The Kraken, a sea monster. Then it became specimens, washing ashore in Newfoundland, documented, measured, studied. Then photographs, 2004, frozen moments of a living creature. And finally, in 2012, an encounter. 630 meters down, 23 minutes, a juvenile giant squid investigating a submersible, watching the humans inside. And that moment, when it stopped and looked directly at the camera, changed something. The Kraken became real. Not a myth, not a corpse. A living, thinking creature, curious about us, making decisions, and then choosing to leave, returning to the darkness. Right now, somewhere 300 to 1,000 meters down, giant squid are hunting. Arms trailing, eyes scanning the darkness, waiting. We've seen them alive only a handful of times, a handful of encounters in 2 decades. The 2012 footage, 23 minutes, is the most complete record we have. And it reveals how much we still don't understand. How do they reproduce? Unknown. How long do they live? Unknown. How many exist? Unknown. The giant squid went from legend to science, but the mystery remains. Somewhere in the deep, they're there. Those eyes the size of dinner plates, aware, alive, thinking. And if you're very lucky, if you spend years searching, if you dive hundreds of times, one might let you watch it for 23 minutes before it turns, descends, and returns to being myth again.